everyone, so Martin here, Strat Chat, and we are going to do a kind of a postscript, an after action report sort of, and just have a little bit of a think about where we are in this campaign, which of course we're going to finish. So we're going to think really about a little bit about how we got where we are, what the kind of situation is that we're in at the moment, and what I might have done going forward if I was to go forward. So let's have a look first geographically at the area controlled. So first thing to point out is obviously it's a huge empire, this Slavic Empire, and of course it includes lots of other little bits which I've picked up inadvertently. I made no attempt to have all of that Scandinavian territory, but one way or another it's become incorporated into the empire. So it's huge. When I think of it being huge, I can't help remembering that there is somebody commenting on the who's commented on the in the comments below one of the videos that me talking about this being a huge achievement is kind of cute, kind of sweet from his point of view or her point of view. I don't actually know if this commenter is a male or female, but this person's point of view, because they have several times conquered the whole world. But we set out to do this, and that's as far as we're going to go. So we're not going to be going any further. So let's just have a think about where it all started and what's important about that. So the first thing to look at is this: Bohemia, the Duchy of Bohemia, with its 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 counties. If I just have a look at those counties. Okay, so this is absolutely critical here. So you can see Prague here, surrounded by Žatec, Pilsen, Dubldej, Kaslav, Radec, Bolshevik and Litoměřice, and the whole point really is that they are all of them adjacent to Prague. It is really at the centre, is the centre of the wheel, if you like. And because of that, we're able to concentrate all of our efforts into developing Prague. And for that reason, it's actually reached development 90. But because of the natural way that it spreads to adjacent counties, Kaslav is 69, 73, Bolesław 66, Litoměřice 72, Žatec 73, Pilsen 70, Dubldej 68. They're all pretty high. And also, cunningly, what I've done and decided to do from the beginning, I was discussing it, is I've kept that whole area my culture, the Czech culture. So we've got very, very, very high average development. If I'd have been converting all of these places to my culture, I might have had a little bit less trouble, but we didn't have much trouble from the populace anyway. But I would be developing these technologies much, much more slowly. And that's why in the year 1112 we are in the high medieval era, and we have nearly everything. We've only got heraldry to go. In fact, we're going to get heraldry in 47 days, and that would complete all of the texts from there. And then late medieval, we can't even start researching it until the year 1200. So the truth is that we've gone through these technologies extraordinarily fast. You could argue that I've put too much resources into these, because obviously by pouring these resources in, what I failed to do is perhaps put resources into something else, and I'm clearly achieving all of the high medieval innovations too soon. How far too soon? 1200. So I suppose basically, it's getting on for 90 years, isn't it? 90 years too soon. So I could have developed slightly less effort into getting those innovations, and put them into something else where I'd have got something good from it. Just maybe using my steward for something else, for example. Nonetheless, that was the key thing. And if you look at this duchy, it has it's feudal elective, special feudal elective, which meant because I controlled most of the game, I controlled all of the counties in the Dukedom of Bohemia. I was safely able to elect my successor every single time to that dukedom, And when he got that dukedom, he got the dukedom, and he got all of the counties. Same with the kingdom, because of course the kingdom, very unusual in this game, the kingdom is exactly the same as the dukedom. So I was able to put that on a feudal elective too. I'm going to always be the king, always be the Duke of Bohemia, and control all of the counties, and I could pass that on through however number of successions. This was the jewel in the crown for my dynasty. The Premislid dynasty. I think we had Great Moravia for a little while, and then we were convinced to swap to Kiev, and I think Kiev became our second duchy. We were often able to control all of the counties there, but not always. We had to sometimes give one away because we were over our domain limit. Usually able to get them back. Learned quite a lot in the course of this game actually on how to get rid of them and how to get them back when you need them. But that was the key thing. And in fact, if you look at any of these, every single barony has been built, and inside them, a fair bit of development. There's still more development to go, and obviously this is what I'd be doing now, isn't it? Is building continuing to build these up. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buildings in every castle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so quite a bit of building to do, but I've got plenty of money and I've got a huge income. And of course, now that I'm going to I'd stop warring now, and I'd be able to absolutely smash those buildings in no time at all. And in terms, therefore, of like, where would I go? Where would I go with that? I think the truth is that we're looking at probably like sort of world domination really as the next thing worth even considering. Either world domination or take over kingdoms, pass them on to relatives and make them independent, so that at least we're getting lots of renown. That's certainly something that we could do. I think there is sort of a challenge, although I think we'd be okay, and that is the Mongol hordes. It may be they don't get quite as far as us. I think they're going to come in about 80 years or so. It's got quite a bit of time to prepare for it. Bearing in mind that it doesn't really matter if we lose odd counties on the borders to them anyway. It's only if they go for whole kingdoms, which of course they can, because if you've got the Greatest of Khan's decision, you can go for unlimited kind of like kingdom wars. But the forces on that Mongol horde don't regenerate. They're fixed, and so even if you lost a couple of wars, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But I would have like 80 years or so to prepare for it. We can build better defensive buildings. We would almost undoubtedly be building better defensive buildings in that time. And the other thing that I think would have been really interesting to do, and I would have liked to do, is we can always see we can have an additional tradition. Reform the Czech culture. I'm not sure if we would be able to do it now. It would be interesting to make this a better culture. Just really, really pick out the very, 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 very best aspects of the culture. And I suppose the other thing I do is perhaps explore the activities a lot more. I mean, we've done I think we've done a couple of university visits. We've done feasts, hunts, pilgrimages, all the old ones. I haven't been going to other people's events. But I certainly should be holding grand tournaments. I mean, what's this guy's? I mean, he's got pretty good prowess. Should be participating in grand tournaments. The grand tours, of course, I get one free. Well, I get one of these things free each reign. I took advantage of that a few times, but there's so much more. We had so much more to kind of explore. Worth saying that I never, if I just look at the hunt, I never do the falconry one, and I don't really know anything about it. Perhaps I should do that. Were I to kind of like continue. But I think, as fascinating as this has been, and however much I've enjoyed it, and I have enjoyed it a great deal, it just occurs to me that it's almost unfair how powerful Bohemia is as a start location in this game. It's almost cheating to start as Bohemia, because you can have such incredible development, you can have such incredible wealth, and kind of political stability at the heart through the way that you're able to control the Duchy of Bohemia and the Kingdom of Bohemia, etc. I've literally forgotten the names of some of the kingdoms that I'm actually ruling over. I mean, we've got Novgorod, Vladimir, Ruthenia. Zaporizhia is partly in our empire, not completely. And it makes me think that the next game should be something where I am starting with every disadvantage. And I think this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something that starts with every disadvantage. And the reason that I'm going to do that is I want to be able to build it up from the very, very bottom with every kind of challenge, poor culture, poor development, poor, not being a feudal state, things like that. Having to build it up from the very, very beginning, and build it up to something that's phenomenally powerful. So I think I'm going to go somewhere underdeveloped, somewhere poor, insignificant in the country, in the world. Oh, look at that, it's the yellowest, isn't it? The yellowest place there. Even more yellow than the traditionally great places. Okay. And the other thing is the unstoppableness of the army. Now, these are not min-maxed, but I can have 20 regiments of stuff in many cases. And I think that's something I've actually learned through playing this, is that you really need to take advantage of some of the benefits of the accolades. You should really, really micromanage them. At the beginning, I wasn't really managing them at all. I was just, I've got one, stick him in. Wasn't even sure what the benefits were. I need to be doing that much, much more carefully. And clearly, the best of them are the ones which give you more regiments, or at least in higher, more levels for each of your regiments. So that's something I will give more consideration and thought to. And the other reason, this is a reason really why kind of in a way I'm quite glad we're stopping here really, is because we've got these Wardens rules coming in. I don't get those yet. I need to explore those. It didn't feel like a good use of my time to do it in the sort of the last episode before, but I will be looking at wards and wardens in the next episode, or next series. I don't quite get really what the advantage is at the moment of taking hostages. I do understand that it makes it more difficult for that realm to attack you. I get that, but very often you're attacking weaker people than you, taking a portion of their land, and the war's over. Is there any benefit to taking hostages? I think that you are having just sort of played a little bit with it, you seem to be able to form relationships with those hostages, which could be very, very useful later on in the game. Now, I'm not sure that I don't have an in-depth understanding of that, but that is something that I'd be quite keen to explore in the next playthrough. So, the next playthrough. So the next playthrough will be on Wednesday. I'm going to set it as a premiere, to try and make a little bit of a big thing of it. The first one is going to be, obviously going to reveal where it is that where in the world we're going to be. We're going to do some kind of deep dive analysis of the starting location, and we're going to play out the first year or two, the first few actions. That's going to be on Wednesday. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a really, really exciting to be kind of like starting out somewhere exciting, something new and exciting. I had so many wonderful suggestions, and I'm tempted by all of them. People wanting me to do things in India, people suggesting, of course, China, just because, how often do you see an interesting China run? Not really that often. One, going for Greatest of Khans, I have sort of done that, but going for Greatest of Khans and perhaps running it a little bit longer than I did. People have suggested Spain, of course. Somebody thought, somewhere in kind of Persia. In fact, I think it was me that originally suggested Persia. I'd love to go for Persia. It just seems the wrong time with DLC coming out soon. So I think we're going to put Persia on hold. We're going to go somewhere highly undeveloped. If we just look at, actually look on here, even now, parts of Africa, I've done a kind of a West Africa, haven't I? So all the way up this northern part of Europe, even up into sort of Ireland and Scotland. Sorry, Iceland. How do I get those two muddled up? Incredibly underdeveloped, and I've got a feeling we're going to be going somewhere like that and seeing what we can do with it. I've had some really, really helpful advice during the Bohemian run. I've had some really useful advice on the Bohemian run since the Bohemian run finished, so thank you very much for all of those comments if you're listening to this one as well. And what we're going to do is, and what I'm really hoping is that we carry on getting that. And this is going to be quite different because we're going to be trying to sort of like build something special, you know, out of the tundra, really, you know. So it'd be really, really interesting to see people's thoughts on how I can, you know, kind of maximise development and my power and my military prowess and being able to get involved in getting hold of some techs, you know, in a game where, you know, you're starting off with development 1 in every single county anywhere near you, whatever. So that's going to be really, really interesting. You know, how do we kind of quickly get to feudal if that's going to be a good thing for us, etc. And that kind of stuff. So if we could have like more of that kind of high quality discussion, absolutely fantastic. Right, so just sorry, we're going to finish there, but we're going to be back on Monday night at 7 on Twitch. Remember, if you want to watch that, it's Strat Chat Live, and 7 UK time, and we do that every Monday. Sometimes it's Sunday, but it's supposed to be every Monday. So see you there. It's always nice when people are there to see that. This has obviously gone out on Monday. You probably already know that. Wednesday coming will be the next episode, and that will be on. That will be the beginning of our new series. In the meantime, take care, everybody, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.